Hello, my name is Dalton Parker, and this is my personal philosophy presentation for Leadership 1221. So today I'm going to be talking about some of the important points I learned in this course, what I learned about myself, and how I'm going to apply some of these changes moving forward to becoming a better leader. To begin, I'm going to be giving a little backstory so that we can understand some more context of who I am and how I see some of the qualities of effective leadership in myself and some areas that I need to improve. Like I said, my name is Dalton Parker. I'm 26 years old, and there's not much to tell about me. I'm a pretty simple man. I am quite introverted. I don't deviate from a regular routine like at all or ever. I keep myself very busy and occupied. I work full time as a physio assistant on the south end of Edmonton. I own and operate a farm of cattle and bison. Between cows, calves, yearlings, we roughly run around 700 head of animals. I am also training full time to break national CrossFit ranking. And if you're watching this video, that you know that I am also a student. So I'm quite busy. But I've found that if I keep a schedule, everything gets accomplished. Um, Sometimes having a busy schedule can get a little chaotic and hectic. And this exact conversation came up at the physio clinic the other day. It was a proverb by one of the clients that really resonated with me. He said, if you want something done, give it to the busy man. He will get it done right away because it is something thrown into his schedule unexpectedly. Whereas a slow man will take longer to complete the same objective because they have to plan everything out. I believe that this demonstrates the first qualities of effective leadership, management, and decision making. With a busy schedule, things need to be planned out, deadlines need to be set so that everything can get accomplished. But we need to remember that life is unpredictable. So we need to be flexible. That means that we can adapt to the unexpected. Effective leaders demonstrate these qualities by prioritizing their objectives. Being as busy as I am, I often question why I want to live this kind of life, or if I do really want to live this kind of life. And this is a question that I struggle with on a regular basis, and I don't really have an answer for you. All I know is physical activity has played an important role in my life. For those of you that have read any of my discussion posts, you know that I was involved in a motor vehicle accident when I was younger, which left me having to rehab to full functionality. In the accident, I had a cranial fracture. I broke my mandible in 5 places. I broke my ulna, femur, and a few of my ribs, which basically means I had to relearn how to walk, talk, eat, just everything. I believe that out of the rehabilitation of my injuries, I learned the second qualities of effective leadership, which are perseverance and relatability. Perseverance is the quality of never giving up. It's knowing you're going to fail, but after failing repeatedly, you learn to achieve and succeed. I believe learning this quality was demonstrated when I had to return to functionality. Specifically, I'm going to use the example of relearning how to walk. It started with me wiggling my toes, then it graduated to moving into assisted walking, and finally walking on my own. Each step was a barrier, and there were definitely failures, but the failures are what made me want to try again. I knew I was able to do it before. I can do it again. I'm not going to lay in a bed and die. The next quality I believe I learned from rehabilitation was relatability. Relatability is the quality of being able to relate to the obstacles or the mindset of an individual. I think relatability is most effective for me when considered in the field of ethics. Ethics are one of the foundations of the client-trainer relationship. Basically, ethics are what an individual determines to be right and wrong. This is a strong quality I demonstrate given my experience in rehabilitation. I will be able to relate to the client on different levels. They may just be wanting to get physically active. I started out lying in a bed, having to relearn how to function like a normal person again. Or it might be a high caliber athlete. Like I mentioned before, I'm trying to break national rank as a CrossFit athlete. So it's not really going to matter to me. I've seen both ends of the spectrum, so I know the struggle. Relatability is a double-edged sword. I have found that overcoming these injuries has left me a little insensitive. Um, Basically, if I did it, so can you. I'm under the mindset that is not going to be a physiological barrier, but a psychological obstacle. And yes, I know that rehabilitation is different for everyone. And that's something that I know that I'm deficient in and I'm going to have to work on because I can't compare my struggles or my progress to others. And knowing this, I need to remember that some clients are going to be able to overcome these obstacles and some won't. Some of the clients are going to be able to achieve their goals and some are going to fail. That's just life. I can only train the individual to the best of my abilities. And this brings us to the next quality of effective leadership, which is team building. I literally just admitted to you that I can only train to the best of my abilities. Effective leaders will draw upon the strengths and experiences of a plethora of different healthcare professionals. No one person can know everything. My father was the man who best described this to me. He's a farmer, so he needs to have a diverse skill set about agriculture. But to be effective and efficient, he needs to know that he has limitations. He might know the basics of horticulture, but to maximize efficiency, he's going to pay a horticulturist to manage his crops. Another example is he knows the basics of nutrition, but he's going to pay a nutritionist to give him a nutritional analysis of the supplementation he needs to feed his cattle to maximize their growth. Since no one knows everything, it is important to know that everyone has limitations so that we can do what's best for the client. Knowing these limitations is a good thing, but it's going to lead to conflict because not all the time is the client going to agree with the limitations or the recommendations that we're giving to overcome the limitations. And this is where we see the next quality of effective leadership, which is conflict and change. In any situation, there's going to be conflict. It is an inevitability because we're all our own individuals. How we handle and learn from the situation is what's important. When I was a kid, I was involved in 4-H. 4-H gave me a wealth of knowledge about real life skills and how to apply them. The greatest lesson I learned was regarding the 4-H model, which was learn to do by doing. I believe that this relates to starting out as a new trainer dealing with conflict. In this course, we're taught many different strategies to deal with conflict. In the end, some of these strategies will work and some won't. It's our implementation that is going to navigate us past. And if the conflict is too great to overcome, we need to remember that there are things that are within our control or out of our control that we have no control about. All we can do is our best, shrug it off if it doesn't work out, and chalk it up as a learning experience. Because success often stems from failure, which is essentially learn to do by doing. The last quality of effective leadership I would like to highlight is servant leadership. Servant leadership is someone who puts the needs of others above their own, someone who guides their client through obstacles to help them achieving their goals. I believe that I'm a good example of a servant leader because of the experiences I had in my own rehabilitation, as well as the work I do in the physio clinic. As I mentioned in the beginning, I am a physio assistant, and there are many different roles to my job. But the most important is the service that we provide, rehabilitation to clients and their injuries. I believe that this is an example of where I pass my knowledge along to the client so that they're able to rehabilitate. This is actually one of the main reasons why I'm taking this course. It's so that I'm able to get a larger skill set to help all my clients rehabilitate to the best of their abilities and most efficiently. Honestly, I just scratched the surface of what I think an effective leader is. There are many other different qualities. What I tried to do was highlight some of what I thought were the important ones. Um, some I learned in this course, some I learned from past experiences, but I do believe that as long as I keep applying these qualities, there's no reason I am not capable of achieving my vision of providing the most effective and efficient rehabilitation to others, which is going to make the world a healthier and fitter place. The last thing that we were supposed to talk about is, would you follow yourself? This is a very difficult question. I believe that given my past experiences, I possess the qualities of effective leadership, but I'm not 100% sure I would follow myself. I just don't think I'm the leader type. I think I'm more effective in a secondary role. At the beginning of this presentation, I admitted to being a very introverted person. I don't fully feel comfortable in groups of people, and there's nothing wrong with that. Being a member of a sport cast or just an average Joe doesn't mean you're less of a person. It takes all kinds of people to make the world go round. I would rather be the guy in the trenches doing the grunt work over the guy that gets praised for the accomplishment of the goal. And this is why I don't think I'd follow myself. But I do consider myself a leader. Okay, this has been my personal philosophy presentation for Leadership 1221. I hope I touched on some of the important points we learned in this class, and I hope you learned a little bit about what leadership means to me. Thank you, and have a good day.